Ladies and gentlemen, as you can hear by the sweet sound of my
I am not gonna leave that part in. You know that.
of my co-host's voice.
You know, sucking on a popsicle.
His
Choco taco.
Daddy, would you like some sausage?
No, I think it's funny because I was checking out the last episodes and they were ranked as clean, and I was like, "There's no way."
I've got my work cut out for me.
So we got to make up for lost time. But yes, hey everybody, I'm John, and I guess I'm back.
And I'm James, and well, I've been here.
Yeah, not just James. You know, kick rocks, whatever.
He decided that, James, I have taught you everything you know. You must go on your way, young Padawan.
And I'm like, that was immediately a mistake, so now I'm back.
I regret everything. You failed.
In all seriousness, yes, I am back after a bit of a hiatus. I can explain the hiatus a little bit later, so stick around for the end of the show for the first time for a lot of listeners. But I did listen to the last 3 episodes that featured some of our coworkers and friends, and I was noticing a very distinct energy shift. I think that when you have people on your show who aren't like the most, like when you have the same opinions on certain things, like the energy just changes. Because I think that one of the things about our show is that we're very contentious and we think very differently.
I mean, yeah, Sonic just needs to have 0 rings and die.
I was going to make a reference to Hannity and Combs, but okay.
Oh, you went there, James. Gloves off.
You can tell who's who here. But anyway, yes, for our proper intro, hey everybody, I'm John.
And I'm James.
And this is Games with John and James. And I think what we'll do is we'll go into one of our trademark recaps where I basically just talk about the episodes that I was gone. And then we'll get into the topic of the day, which we'll stick around for. What do you say?
So actually, yes, and I have to add an addition because I spoke into existence. I would give a hot fire quick action review.
Quick action review.
And the game that will have a quick fire 3-minute review is Star Ocean First Departure R.
You want me to time you?
Oh, well, you can, but we'll save that for the end of the intro.
Okay.
So I downloaded it. I felt really dirty purchasing a digital game.
You downloaded a game? Okay. First things first.
I mean, I don't have a PSP anymore. So, yes, I
whose fault
downloaded.
Is that?
Hey, I got a price I couldn't refuse for my retro collection.
You've said that, yes.
So, no, I downloaded it digitally. So, before we go into this review, John, how did your best and most wonderful and illustrious friend do on those 3 episodes? Hit them.
I digitally downloaded something as opposed to analog downloaded something. I'm just trying to picture what that would look like. But yes, so the first episode where you talked about narrative-themed games with our friend Brandon, that was great to hear because it's a perspective that, I mean, I very much do not have. Like, I very much invest in games that are gameplay-centric and gameplay-first, which I also thought was kind of refreshing to hear when it was describing the video games on Brandon and your side, where it's like, what's the first thing you notice about these narrative-driven games is the gameplay. I'm like, yes, thank you. Always acknowledge gameplay first, because you can have the best story in the world, and I'm a huge apologist for Metal Gear Solid 4. I adore that game, but there's not a whole lot of game to it. There's a lot of watch to it. You know what I mean?
That was the one with the senator, right?
No, that was Revengeance.
Okay.
There's a lot of game in that game. I love it. But no, Metal Gear Solid 4 is... It was kind of like not like the black sheep, but it came out of Metal Gear Solid 3, which was like all gameplay. And then it went into Metal Gear Solid 5, which I couldn't get around. I liked Ground Zeroes, but I'm getting off track here. No, but you talked about narrative games. You mentioned Undertale, which, hell yeah. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon for Spec Ops The Line, because that game, I went into that game blind and it blew my freaking mind. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Did you get Chris Angel mindfucked?
Mind freaked.
I mean...
Wait, hold on. Is the show originally going to be called Mindfucked?
That's how... I will be honest, I know it's Mind Freak, but every time I see it, I'm like, he's just mind-fucking you.
Yeah, because his shirt's off and he's in a towel. That would would be so messed up. He's on stage. It's like, hello, magicians. You must open your mind and body to all these tricks. And like the magic trick, boom, my clothes are off. Oh, how did this happen? It's like, he's a predator.
He's got the magic stick.
I think this is slander, but anyway. So I liked the different energy that it had, and I liked the appreciation put on games that, I've personally maybe not have had the most perspective on. And I liked the fact that Brandon stood for Last of Us Part 1 and 2 as well. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that you brought up the games that you brought up as well.
Wow. Gonna give games mentions, but you're not gonna even mention my entries? And you played one of my entries, if not both. If not actually our mutual one. You played 3 of the entries on that list, sir. The Kingdom Hearts series, don't you me. Don't you dare me.
The Kingdom Hearts conversation was the part I was trying to avoid, because I'm like, do not pull me in that rabbit hole, because I saw the trailer for 4 and I was like, I feel nothing.
Look, adult gaming, it has to happen.
I think adult gaming means very different things for me than it does for you.
I mean, you 2 toys and a cup.
Now that's a game. Pre-order now. Okay, but jumping right along, as I don't want the recap to take up like 20 minutes of the show. Moving on to the solo episode where you were at the NAB, the Broadcasting Convention.
Yeah, good old Las Vegas.
I really wish I could have been there, but again, preoccupied with other things. You said you have some books for us to read, so if you have some literature or anything to hand out, that'd be great.
I promise to distribute some free literature for you.
Open up the dictionary. See, isn't it great? You just missed me. Come on.
Yeah, you're all right sometimes.
Yeah, so are you. No, but...
oh, hey, fuck you too! You're not my guy, buddy!
I'm not your buddy, friend.
I'm not your friend, guy!
I'm not your guy, buddy. All right.
Okay, we did the loop.
Yeah. We do the rest of the other, 45 minutes. No, but just one point to clarify. You mentioned the Sonic Origins collection, which I'm very excited for.
That I did.
It has 5 games in it. So it has the original Genesis quadrilogy, and it also has Sonic CD. So that makes me very happy.
Aww. Do you think they're going to remaster the Open?
I think it's already been remastered, because they have, the original one, and it was in...
No, 4K it. True 4K with the opening and all the best sound quality and everything, and all of a sudden it's just like an IMAX explosion of the Sonic CD.
So me with my freaking Sonic style spiky hair in the kind of in those Maxwell inserts on tapes, where it's just being blown away by the speakers.
Exactly.
Do people even know Maxwell anymore?
I mean,
that's my question.
You're showing your age.
Yeah, but no.
Old bastard.
The only thing that I didn't like about the Origins collection is that Knuckles wasn't on it. Knuckles Chaotix, for as a lot of people, because they never really played it, me included, I actually got a copy of that game recently. And it's not every day you get to play a brand new game from your childhood, And I have been loving that. If you follow the Instagram, you probably saw my friggin' mug next to my TV holding my Genesis controller. Man.
Good times.
Real good times, and I will not tell you how much I paid for it.
Hey, welcome to retro collecting, buddy.
Hey, a portent of things to come. But wrapping up with the other quick review, where you had Tony on the show. I love his energy and his delivery. Tony's just a funny guy, all in all. So when we paired it with you, I think that was just the best type of chemistry the show's had. So...
Oh, he said it was better than him. Hey, I'm interpreting your words.
I don't know. It's because I think there's a part of me where if you channeled me and Stephen Wright, you'd get him. So, but the other thing that was kind of nice was I did like the topic of the gatekeeping, because gatekeeping is a huge, pet peeve of mine and a lot of things, because...
I mean, the moral of the story is if you gatekeep, go fuck yourself.
That's very true. It's like the people who, when Elden Ring came out, it's like, hey, don't use this build, or, do it this way. It's it's a single-player game, and you make games not fun, and you probably made sure to turn off everybody for Dark Souls, and all the Souls-like games. The way that I actually had heard it typified about Elden Ring, quick, sidebar, is Elden Ring is a game where the DM likes you, whereas the Souls games are where the DM hates you.
That's a pretty apt description. I mean, I still have it sitting on my shelf. Eventually I'll try to beat it. Eventually.
Yeah, just find the busted builds and just shoot lasers at giant salamanders.
1 XP, 1 XP, 1 XP. 5 years later, I'm buff.
Oh, you just gave me a huge flashback. Remember the Full Metal Alchemist video games that came out on the PS2?
I do. I remember those.
I played the sequel, and you can transmute different weapons like lances and hammers and all sorts of stuff. You can get a toy hammer, and every time you hit someone with the toy hammer, you get 1 XP. So I basically learned a pattern so I could Tekken juggle corpses to get 1 XP. So I could just power level in like the first level. So by the time of the game, I'm like level 200, and people are like, "Wow, you're killing everything."
If only you knew the magic of my hammer, my toy hammer.
And that freaking game was so much better than the first one. But anyway,
Yeah, the first one was a train wreck. The second one, they acknowledged the shortcomings. Like, they gave us a good game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those rare occurrences where companies actually, like, you felt they acknowledged their shit, corrected it, course went right. So, shout out.
that was when Square Enix actually published video games that made people, happy. Now they don't.
Yeah, something blockchain, NFT / selling Western IPs. If you follow the Instagram, you saw that on Wednesday.
Yeah, I saw that too. And also I'm just like, wow, Square does not give a crap, do they?
Nope. But people are still going to buy those games.
And it makes me wonder if Nomura is just kind of under the foot, where it's like, you owe us another trilogy. And it's like, what? And then like that's why Kingdom Hearts looks the way it does now. But I'm also, did you hear about the Yuji Naka fallout for Balan Wonderworld?
I think you and I talked about it briefly, but you should educate the masses.
Yeah, this is probably old news to a lot of people listening to it, today. But yeah, Yuji Naka came out and talked about like a lawsuit that he was going through with, his contentious relationship with Square Enix after being removed as director from his game, which, a lot of people came out with very different opinions on it. Like Naka has always been kind of like a weird dude or kind of a dick. But at the same time, it's like you don't deserve to have your project taken away. Like, even if the reason is you want to make it better and they say, no, we don't care. Because that seemed to be the overarching theme, is that Square Enix does not care about games or people who play them. And that sucks.
You gotta... So, I fully get, as a company, you have bottom lines, you have to ensure people are paid, et cetera, so on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. We all get that. We understand how business works. If you chase the dollar with a hobby... case in point, one of the main reasons I quit Magic the Gathering. Like, if you go into Magic the Gathering and you want to play standard right now, you can get your original booster packs. Now you can get set booster packs. Now you can get draft booster packs. Now, oh, wait, you like it shiny? Here's a collector's booster pack that cost you the price of 5.
That's stupid.
And...
it's gambling.
I mean, yeah, essentially, but you can't put profit first. Like, I'm a firm believer. I want everybody to be a millionaire. I will give you investment advice till I'm blue in the face.
The devout capitalist of this show, one of the 2 people on the show, just said you can't just chase the almighty dollar.
No, you can't. But I can help you earn the almighty dollar through sound investing.
You see, that's America right there. Anyway.
But Square's lost sight of what it means. And this is my hope. You know what? You can chase your blockchain, chase your NFTs. Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers is actually doing amazingly for numbers and everything, right? Mm-hmm. You chase that and you throw nostalgia our way and you give it, like, you remaster it and give us quality of life improvements for a lot of the longer drawn out ones. Cool. You can go fucking kick rocks for all I care. I'll enjoy my nostalgia on newer consoles and also enjoy people who have never got to experience this experiencing it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you just actually do what we've been saying for a really long time with any company, like, give us a reason to own the library of amazing games that you have. Like, I have no idea what Nintendo's model is for, like, drip feeding these 1 or 2 games that come out on their freaking Nintendo online service for the Switch. It's like, dude, give us Melee. Like, we want to play it, but they would much rather you just play the new game. It's like, do you have any idea how backwards logic it is to not give people the old games or resell it to them? Of course they're going to buy the new one. They're going to buy the old one again, too. It's been proven time and time again.
I mean, we're not going to talk about Nintendo and all this stuff going on with them. Like,
yeah.
Even From Software, did you see the news about them and their company?
That they're screwing up now? They're torturing people?
Mm-hmm.
God, that's BS. Did you hear, there was one story quick, again, old news, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but we'll touch on it real quick. One of the friggin' testimonials from the contract workers at Nintendo basically said that they were in the premises of, like, the proper Nintendo building and slipped, like, on, like, something slippery or something and hurt their back and couldn't get treated at the Nintendo company, like, health ward because they weren't on the company insurance because they had a blue badge. That is horrifying. And it counted as an absence from work to go get treated because their red badge having friend had to take them to the hospital. Like, that is the most dystopic sounding thing I've heard in my life. And I'm sure it doesn't happen in just the video games industry. I'm sure it happens everywhere, but I'm just saying, again, in the kind of overarching sentiment of what we're talking about, if you just chase profit, if you just chase the dollar, if you treat people like second-class citizens, that's what's going to happen. And it sucks.
Hey, Japanese businesses, I know you don't listen, but if you are listening, grow the fuck up.
Yo! Shots fired. Take that.
Squeenix, Nintendo, I'm fucking looking at you.
Yeah. Take that. Listen to two white 30-year-old males in America who know better.
Hey, we have purchased all of their games, sir.
Yeah. I think at some point I probably have. Yeah.
You and Sonic.
Yeah. I'll talk about that today and the topic at hand, but yeah.
Ah, yes, the topic. Topic.
So I think we kind of got off on tangents like we often do. I think we're just excited to be doing this. I'm excited to be doing the show again, so.
Aw, you missed me.
I would like to hope that the audience and you as well missed me too.
I mean, sometimes. Only on days that end in Y.
The one last thing I'll touch on before we jump into the topic of the day. As I was listening to the last 3 episodes, I had a very visceral reaction because every time either one of you or one of the guests would say something, I'd be like, I need to jump in with a joke. I have a joke for this.
I imagine you just have like a little notepad filled out with them right now.
Say, make dick joke now.
Docking.
Dockin', my favorite band.
Dick tips. Docking.
That's just in a notebook, just listed. It's just like, there's no context for this, John. What is this? Don't ask too many questions. But
so, before we get to the topic, I have to give my hot fire review.
All right, that's right.
So,
do we want to give a quick break first? Or do you want to jump in?
We're gonna jump in before the break. It has to happen in the intro. It's hot fire. So,
all
Star
right.
Ocean.
I gotta get the stopwatch ready.
Oh wow, he's actually timing me.
Yep, you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So, Star Ocean, First Departure R, originally
Time's
released
up.
on the... Oh, damn it.
I'm kidding.
Super Famicom. Then we initially got to play it on the PSP. It's been fan-translated and everything. It was the first entry in the Star Ocean series. It's a very wonderful, fun, inviting, overarching, grand adventure.
Okay.
Like, literally, the story starts, oh no, my friend turns to stone. I need to cure him. And then you go on your way for your journey to kind of find it. You get to guide the story how you want it. Back on the Super Nintendo, no less, was letting your choices dictate the outcome of what you do.
So an RPG with actual role-playing.
Oh, hey, look at that.
What a novel concept.
So it was action RPG. Combat was engaging. The story is very engaging. And it kind of sets up the universe for eventually the twist that happens in Star Ocean till the end of time. That kind of divided the fan base. You laugh, but you know it's true.
I do, but I also just remember the one cutscene where the one girl is like, I've always been ashamed of my body. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
So with this game, I honestly, this one, it's getting the certified play it. If I had to rate it, I'd honestly give it a 4 out of 5.
Hey, all right.
So obviously there's always going to be room for improvement. It's an old game, and we're used to quality of life improvements. I mean, hell, Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers Edition, we had the...
they have a no-fight mode.
No fight, auto battler, and you can actually like push through stuff like it's nothing. And it's like, oh, cool, look, PlayStation game without the fluff.
Hey.
So First Departure R, it's a great, wonderful entries into a long-running franchise. It fell off quite a bit with Integrity and Faithlessness that released for the PS4. We are getting a new Star Ocean, so I am cautiously optimistic for the future of it. Come on, Tri-Ace, don't let me down.
Oh, that's still Tri-Ace after all these years.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so honestly, I highly recommend digital purchase. It hits sales every now and then, so...
Go to cdkeys.com if you want it cheaper.
Go fuck John. And so it gets to play it. give it a shot. Combat was fun, story was fun, and overall it immerses you in the world, and at the same time it leaves you feeling fulfilled, and it's not that bitter taste in your mouth like with any Sonic game.
You still have 30 seconds. You want to talk more?
No, I've wrapped it up. I had to leave it with that comment, Mr. Dick.
Mr. Dick and Mrs. Dick. Come to the wedding.
So
it's a double lantander.
Heyo. So with that, we are actually going to be right back. Next week, there will also be another Hot Fire review. So don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. And we have a topic that is near and dear my heart. And it's going to kind of flip the script in a lot of ways. So I think you'll like it.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And that's all I'll do the prelude for. Stick around. Work on my segues because I've been out of the game for too long.
Segue.
You know, those things that kill people. Anyway. You ever hear about the TMK?
No.
Too much Kirby? And how the cartridges from the original run of Kirby killed children?
Jesus.
It's a creepypasta that's popular right now, and it's awesome.
Jesus. You remember the flash skits I sent you where Kirby ate Dracula and became Dracula, and it was like vampire Kirbying everybody?
And it was like horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking scary. I thought the Black Order, what are they called in Warhammer? The Black Armor guys?
Like, I don't know Warhammer.
They're the Crusaders or something, and they were killing all the furries.
Brother!
Yeah, like I found that more tasteful than the Kirby one. I found that easier to swallow. But Tish. No, but yeah. Welcome back, everybody, and we're going to jump into the topic at hand, which we're going to touch on collecting in a very different capacity, through a very different lens, through the myopic lens of my own collecting, because toward the end of my little hiatus, I basically dove into a treasure trove of retro and classic video games that a lot of people might not expect from me, but at the same time can't do anything but expect it from me. Because, and I'll make sure to tell the story in my own words, okay?
Okay.
I have made mention in the past that I'm not very much of a collector. If I can get games easily accessible through any other means, where it's digital or whatever, I mean, look back to our, digital versus physical episode for that kind of stuff. If I can get it that way, path of least resistance, I just want to play the game, right?
That's fair. If game is here, I am here. I want to get to here without all the excitement of the middle.
Yeah, if I can get frickin', the Contra collection on my Switch, I'm not going to bother collecting all the carts, you know what I mean? It's that kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. But one system that I've mentioned in the past, and other systems I've mentioned in the past, I love Sega systems, because those aren't really shown a lot of love when it comes to, preservation. And one of those systems in general is the Sega Saturn. There is nothing out there for any type of preservation or re-releases. There's very little love paid to the Saturn.
With the exception of a limited run release in Panzer Dragoon.
The remake?
Yeah.
The remake is fun. But yeah, and they put Guardian Heroes on the Xbox 360 a couple years ago, and that was fun too. But that's one game. Radiant Silvergun's there too, but whatever.
Yeah. So the Saturn, it's kind of like the unsung hero, and I say it's the unsung hero because you completed your Transformer, as we made mention a few episodes ago. As
you can see on the Instagram with my mug looking at frickin' Knuckles Chaotix. That was definitely acquired during my spree. Yes.
Sega, it sucks that Sega of Japan didn't trust Sega of America, and we got basically a simultaneous release of 32X and Sega Saturn, and they pushed themselves into fucking oblivion.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, if the Saturn had been done right, it could have held its own against PlayStation and against the Nintendo 64.
I'm glad you acknowledged that, because that was one of the things I was going to say, because one of the reasons people say the Saturn wasn't successful, other than the botched marketing of the 32X and all that crap.
I mean, it's all the marketing.
Yeah, and it was the fact that the expandable memory and like all the stuff that was actually pretty smart about the Saturn, and the fact that it was a really souped up 2D machine that allowed for expandable memory, and the fact that Sega pretty much gave the specs for the initial PlayStation 2 Sony to make, and I'm just my mind is just completely, I've gone cross-eyed. But anyway, yeah. So this system has not been shown a lot of love, and there are still a really big catalog of games that are really fun for it.
I mean, I quoted you quite a few games, and you were like, no.
Well, you gave me RPGs. I don't play them.
For the Sega Saturn, I feel like you would.
Right, but they're also like thousands of dollars.
I mean, the most expensive is only $1,000.
If I want to get Popful Mail for the Sega CD, at least that's only $500. Come on.
No. If you are diving, you must dive all the way.
I don't want Snatcher for my Sega CD. That's like $1,500.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine. That's just rent for 2 months. Whatever.
I mean, hey, living, gaming.
Eating, gaming. Mm-hmm.
You can eat your games.
Give me those Sega SpaghettiOs with Sonic noodles.
Sega-Os.
Segos. That sounds disgusting. Anyway. I want to get back on track. So, I made mention that if I was going to do any type of collecting or rekindling of that kind of stuff, I'd probably want a Saturn, because the Saturn has a lot of great games for, that kind of era, especially if I like playing fighting games. And the Capcom collections that came out on the Saturn were great. A lot of the native Sega games for the Saturn were great. And there were even some gems like Saturn Bomberman or Astal and all the sorts of other games.
Hey, let's not forget Mega Man on Saturn.
That's true. Mega Man 8 and X4.
And
X3.
There you go.
X3 also came out on the PlayStation and the PC. And X1 came out on PC for some reason, too. I don't get it. I think it ran on DOS, which is weird. So you just boot it up and it just doesn't work.
Accurate.
Yeah. PC, Super Nintendo gaming, no. But, so, that is where the story is kind of starting off. I basically dove into a wealth of retro collecting where I bought a Japanese Sega Saturn with 2 controllers so we can play together. I got the expandable RAM cartridge that also has an action replay, and a wealth of games. I think today I need to go pick up X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which is one of my favorites. I have Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter coming. I have Sonic Jam coming. Dynamite Cop, Die Hard Arcade, the first one. Because we played Dynamite Cop on the Dreamcast, and that game was insane. The prequel is coming soon, which is going to be awesome. I have Christmas Nights and regular nights coming. And I think the final thing I got for the collection, not for the Saturn, but I did have my 32X, I finally picked up Knuckles Chaotix. And holy crap, I love that game.
So I want this to sink in with everyone. It used to be me.
We gotta get it straight first.
Get this. Go retro. Buy this. Play your childhood. Nostalgia. And so I sold my retro collection. I'm actually building it back up.
Why?
The hunt is fun.
The hunt is fun, yes, but I mean...
The hunt is fun, and it never gets old. Like, it's just an infinite loop.
It just gets expensive.
I mean, yes. But... So to hear John doing this, like when he first told me, hey, so he's messaging me, he's like, oh, hey, I got this. My literal comment to him was, holy shit. Because you wouldn't expect it. Mr. Computer.
I know, but at the same time, like, I'm figuring it out. And I'll probably have a more kind of sentimental message toward the end of this. But I just want to acknowledge the thing that I've noticed when I was doing my collecting and looking at prices and going through eBay bids and stuff like that. If you want to import games, they're exponentially cheaper on the Saturn. I was looking at the difference.
You're paying for the little ESRB rating. How does that feel?
It feels stupid. But I get it in the long run because the Saturn was not the most popular in the PAL or even in the American territories, right? American territories. What?
Why did you use it that way?
Well, because South America's included.
Are we going? I mean, are we going to the Virgin Islands over here? Are we going to Puerto Rico or Guam?
Going to Nassau? No, friggin'. What I'm saying is that just for reference, right? I look at Saturn Bomberman, which is, a good Bomberman game.
Mm-hmm.
The American release, I was looking at eBay, and people were trying to sell complete in box for like $800.
Yep.
I look at Saturn Bomberman imported for the Japanese Saturn, and it's $80.
I mean, you got 800.
Yes, on my Japanese Sega Saturn, I'll play my English game that will probably just scream at me like, what the hell is this? But that's what Action Replay's for. No, but I was noticing that if you're willing to import, like, those things make it a lot easier. Also, I think what the parallel I was kind of drawing was the games that you recommended to me were a lot of the RPG crowd, right?
Magic Knight Rayearth, Panzer Dragoon Saga. So my favorite anime of all time has a game on the Sega Saturn.
Slayers.
There is a Slayers game.
I'm glad you know about that because I was going to tell you about that.
Bro.
What?
Come at me.
I'm just saying.
Come at me.
But did it come out in America?
No, it didn't. But I still knew about it when I was 12.
Yeah.
And I was jaded as fuck because I was closer to Japan than I was to America because I was living in Turkey and I still couldn't get it.
Lena, what's the name of the friend with the long hair and the big titties? What's her
Which
name?
one?
What do you
Amelia or Naga?
Amelia, I think is... No,
So-
Naga's the girl who's in the trio, right?
So you have Lena Inverse.
Yes.
Gauri Gabriev.
Uh-huh.
You have Zelgadis, or sorry,
Zelgada, like the kind of...
the rock golem. I think it's Zelgadis. I could be wrong, but it's Zel something. You have Zelos, who's the demon, and then you have Amelia, who's this idiot cleric who's big chested.
she's cute. Come on.
And she's like, ha ha ha. But then you have Naga, who was an enemy into an ally, and Naga was the super big chested woman who was like, and it would go for like 15 seconds. And then Lena just looks at her and she's like, hey, you know what? Dragon Slave! Dragon Slave! Dragon Slave! Yeah. And you just see Naga like, oh my god, running.
With her titties out, yay. Anyway, no, I was just saying how that character was sexy as hell, and I'm like, yeah. But...
Good god, did I just quote Slayer's Universe?
I think so.
Well, time for me to go rewatch them.
Go for it. That had Lisa Ortiz as Lena Inverse in the English dub, who was the voice of Amy Rose in Sonic X. Anyway, so...
Brock, forget whoever his voice actor is.
Yes, he was the voice of...
He was Gauri Gabriev.
Yes, he
the
was.
idiot swordsman.
And he's...
I don't know what's going on, but I will fight you.
Hey, I mean, because like, if you watch frickin' Escaflowne, and you see that exact same character, but competent, it's not as fun.
Like... It was awesome. That was a good anime. And it was all made just to poke fun at D&D.
Yeah, and that's awesome, because D&D needs to be made fun of sometimes.
We're looking at you, other nerds.
We're looking at you, Wizards of the friggin' Coast. So we're getting off track, but... So a lot of the games that you recommended were RPGs, and yes, if they're classics, sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because of their limited appeal in America and limited releases and stuff, they're really expensive and hard to find. Also, like, unless you speak Japanese, getting the import copies of those won't do much for you because if you can't read it, you can't really get the story or anything that's happening, right?
You know some Japanese, right?
I know some Japanese, yes. I could probably figure it out if I was playing it, but what I'm saying is that the prices that I paid for and like, you know, the prices I paid for the genre of game that I'm trying to predominantly play on my system are
not the $1,000 titles.
They're not like comparable to what those games are. And so it made me realize that there's a really big slant in terms of like the actual retro collecting community because yes, there are some games like, let's use Little Samson as an example for Nintendo, right?
I mean, do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy Little Samson?
Exactly. So because they're rare, the quality of the game or like your means to actually play it or understand it, like they're not comparable in terms of their actual price. That's kind of the initial thing I'm noticing. Because, you know, like it or not, like import copies versus domestic copies, that's one thing. If I wanted Marvel Superheroes for my import Saturn, it's going to be a lot cheaper than the Western release, right?
I mean, just look at, Mega Man 8, $500 for...
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Or $20.
Right. I just found that compelling is all. I found the disparity between the cost of that kind of stuff pretty compelling. So I was like, I'm glad that I honestly am not a big fan of RPGs because I'm saving hundreds of dollars.
I mean, you are, but eventually I will find a way for you to get like a Magic Knight Rayearth or an Albert Odyssey Or Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Gigi, I'm calling you out right now. You have that game still. Bring it home. Bring it home for the next time you come over. We'll play it.
Let me play it so I don't have to blow my money.
So we'll maybe invite you.
When he told me that, it was kind of a surreal moment for me because I felt like it was kind of a coming full circle kind of moment because...
You said coming.
Ew. Man, we're 5.
So we're 5 out of 10.
Inches.
I will beat your record on how many strokes it takes.
Oh, no. Insert stroke it to the east.
West side stroke it. East side stroke it. Okay, stop. John, stop.
Oh, man. So, I mean, it came full circle because so I've seen him, he'll get a couple things here and there. And I like to think I kind of started the itch with your Christmas present when it was all the Sonic games for the Genesis. And I picture you having, like, seeing them, setting them on your counter, and I picture this moment of, fuck.
Kind of.
You look over to, like, your Sega Classics on whatever console you have. You look back, you look over, you look back, you look over, and you're like, well, Optimus Prime, time to build you.
Yep, time to build an Autobot. I think a Sega would be a Decepticon, honestly.
Actually, it would. What was the Boombox one?
Soundwave?
Yeah. You'd be like Soundwave, but Sega Wave.
But Rumble would be like the cassettes that go in. It would be the Sega tapes.
Rumble would be the 32X.
Oh my god, you're right.
Hey, you hear that? We're pitching shows.
Yeah, Transformers. Keep making more Transformers. But it kind of was like that because I had the cartridges and you kind of said in passing, like, now you need to get a Sega. And I'm like, haha, very funny. But when I visited home last March, there was a used store up in Washington, and I went up there, and sure enough, they had consoles with really affordable games, and I was like, hell yeah, like, I want to pick up frickin' Buster's Hidden Treasure and the 2 NHL games I like and all this stuff. And
you mean when sports games were sports games?
When they were fun, yes. Because they still kind of are, but they don't make the games I want to play. They don't make Blitz and Hits and Red Card anymore. But since I had the Genesis, it got me thinking, like, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well actually get the Sega CD and, like, the 2 games I want for it. Or I'll get the 32X and try to find that.
No, you need to get Lunar for Sega CD.
Sega
CD. You need to get the Lunar because it's about the moon.
You play them Japanimation video games?
Oh, he said Japan. We got to fight him. No, you got to get Lunar for the Sega CD. At least,
if you pay for it, I will play it.
It's actually inexpensive.
Really?
You know what? Entertain the masses. We're going to go to my handy-dandy game tracking app. GameEye, by the way. If you don't have it, great for tracking your collection, for how much you paid, what you have, what condition, and it will track it as if you had it fully complete in box or missing manual or anything. Highly recommend it, even if all you do is play modern stuff.
They better pay us for that. We still haven't done our Instacart commercial.
But we got to get that fully set up, don't we?
Sure, but we'll leave the charge on that. So stay tuned for commercials, y'all. That'll be everybody's favorite part of the show. No, but that was just my line of thinking. And it wasn't really a collector's itch as much as it was like, it would be nice to have these things from my childhood. And this is where the sentimental part comes in. Because as I was collecting these things and, thinking about playing them and holding the controllers in my hand, I was realizing I was kind of stuffing down this inner child in me that really loved these things. And, when you grow up, usually you grow up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where you kind of realize that there are other things that are more important and the other things that you kind of set aside, whether it's hobbies or things that you liked or things that sparked joy in your life. And that's just natural when that happens, when you grow up and things you have responsibilities and all sorts of stuff like that.
100%.
But as I was collecting and acquiring all this, stuff, this material stuff from my childhood, it had a spark in me that was just really just excited to play games again or just to have these things that were important to me. So I get it. Like, I really do. I don't think I ever didn't get it, where stuff from childhood, like toys or memorabilia or like, even, your first catcher's mitt or baseball bat or whatever, like that stuff means stuff to us. And I think it was a long stretch of a few years where I was just kind of stuffing that down. And I'm kind of glad that I'm bringing that back out again because it's been fun to just
So
experience this stuff.
So it's no longer trapped in the closet.
Yes. Timney's no longer stuck down the well.
Did it put the lotion on skin, or did it get the hose again?
It was in water in the well, so it got the hose again.
So
I didn't throw a life preserver down a well. That kid can swim.
So
Lunar on the Sega CD. What's the prognosis?
Yeah, I mean, do you want just the CDs, or do you want it complete?
I don't give a shit. Tell me.
The cases are nice. I'd say you'd want it complete, right?
Sure.
$193.
That's actually not bad, because Popful Mail is like $500, like I said.
Now, if you want to get Lunar Eternal Blue on the Sega CD,
oh God,
$380 for complete in-box.
Again, after all the stuff I've seen, it's not bad. Oh, and I'll make a quick note after we're done talking about this.
Oh, and if you want to get Lunar for the Game Boy Advance, because Lunar Legend was a remake of the original Lunar, Loose is $38.
That if you want a Lunar on a budget, y'all, there you go.
Yo, the PSP one, like I had 2 copies of that. I ended up gifting one to a friend for Christmas.
Nice.
That complete in box is $151. Jesus Christ, I remember picking that up for $20.
I remember going into like GameStop when they were like trying to get rid of their surplus of PS1 games, and they were like letting Mega Man Legends 2 and Misadventures of Tron Bon go for like $10 a piece.
I was not here in America for that. Don't you bring it up, you Schlurgen Durgan.
I'm saying I am remorseful as well. That's all I'm saying. But, when you're a kid, you're stupid. You want to play the new stuff only. But anyway.
No, you are in full retro mode, my friend. You need to embrace full retro mode.
I kind of am, but in a different way. And I can tell you about that real quick.
Okay.
One of the stores I'm finding in my hunt for just other stuff to get is like marketplaces on Facebook. There's an entire secondhand market of people who make reproduction cartridges. Like that's that's no big. Like people have been doing that for a long time. When it's like, buy a copy of Streets of Rage 2 with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in it. That's different, and I love it. So there's a part of me that's like, I actually have a game, the Sonic the Hedgehog Mega Mix, that has like Mighty and Tails and Knuckles and Shadow in it. Like that's coming, and I can play that on my Sega. That is going to be insane. Or like if like the Streets of Rage example, there are ROM hacks out there that are like stupid, like, replace the death growls in Streets of Rage 2 with the Tim Allen grunt. And I'm like, I want that on a cartridge just so I can play it. Yeah. And when Skate dies, it's like, eh? And it's hilarious.
Oh, God. So I pulled up a list of all of the Sega Saturn games.
Okay.
And I think the one game you should really get, I mean, if you choose to listen to me, awesome. If not, I understand it. But you should get KO, the Flying Squadron.
Oh, I know that game.
You should totally get it.
How much is it?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, here's my credit card.
Cool. $3,033 average.
Disgusting.
Hey,
Okay.
you heard him. He's going to get it.
Yeah. Oh, again, one more quick disparity I'll mention. So one of the games I've actually wanted to get recently is Tempo, because I like platforming games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Loose, I found like a bunch of copies of Tempo at Propaganda Palace. Shout out to Propaganda Palace. They had like 5 copies, and they were selling them for about $100 loose. And I'm like, nah, maybe, I don't know, because I saw the 32X version compared to the Saturn version, and the Saturn version looks better, right? I try to find an import copy of Super Tempo for the Sega Saturn. That is weirdly the game that's like $800 import. And the other game that freaked me out that was expensive in Japan was Sonic 3D Blast, which in Japan it's called like Sonic Flicky's Island or whatever. Another game that was like really expensive for seemingly no reason. So that's I'm just in my kind of rekindled nostalgia and hunt for this kind of stuff. I'm just kind of blown away what's expensive and what's not.
Isn't it cool to kind of just like deep dive and be like, huh, I didn't know that. I'm keeping this app open, by the way, so I can just recommend him Sega CD games. Like, he needs to get Space Adventure. He needs to get Earthworm Jim Special Edition.
Oh my God, that's expensive.
It's less than Popful Mail.
Sure, but like...
He needs to get Shining Force CD. You said you liked Shining Force, so fuck off.
I like Shining Force, but if it's going to be like $500, I don't like it that much.
No, it's $321.
You drive a hard bargain.
You need to get Fatal Fury Special.
I actually want to get the real bouts for Sega Saturn, actually.
Oh, okay. What about... Wow.
What?
I never knew that was a game. Android Assault: The Revenge of Bari Arm?
That sounds like a comic book.
What is this? You should get that just for the name alone.
I should freaking get, Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar and just look at the box.
Yeah, no, I can't even see what that game is about. Oh, you could get Time Gal. That seems like it's up your alley.
Yeah. The Time Gal was one of those games like Road Avenger, where it was like, the arcade, like, hit right or context sensitive games. The Dragon's Lairs.
Why does that look like something sexual?
Because the girl isn't wearing pants.
And that looks like semen.
No, it looks like
and a
water.
Tentacle.
It looks like water, and it's a sea serpent, okay?
Tentacle porn. Time Gal.
Play it.
I like how you're like... Ugh.
One hand on both hands on the controller, mister.
Okay.
No, God. Ugh. Why do you gotta... This, again, I'm glad to be back, because now this show can be explicit again. You hear that, sponsors? Come. Anyway. Come sponsor us.
So, honestly, like, the main question I want to ask you, like, so super important. Like,
okay. I'll open the floor to questions.
Oh, yeah, about time. How does it feel? Like, so obviously, for the past 3 years that we've known each other, I've been like, yeah, I'm diving into this. And I've seen the happiness you have for me as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel kind of like full reverse? Because at first you were just kind of like, whatever with retro. But now, like, you're fully embracing it. Like, how does that truly make you feel to join the dark side, for lack of a better expression?
For lack of a better expression, yes. I think basically the crux of your question was, it's like, I've seen you wish happiness on other people. What's it like to actually feel happy for once? No. But I remember very vividly telling you when I bought the Dreamcast, when I first got here, I can't fill the hole in my life with stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think mentally I was just kind of in a bad place, honestly. And whether or not I thought I was acting accordingly, or whether or not I was, doing the right thing by not indulging in kind of baser instincts to just spend money or like dive into what ostensibly are just toys. You know what I mean? Because like I've been very vocal and very stringent when it comes to like, I get it, like these things are important or I like these things, but they're still just toys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's entertainment.
Yeah, that's why I think, harkening back to the gatekeeping episode real quick, like, guys, you're playing with really expensive toys. It's okay for people to want to play with toys, so shut up.
I like my toy.
Me too. Anyway.
Oh, you like mine? Thank you so much. It's a PlayStation 5. I'm
going to have to text Martha after this. Anyway.
I mean, she likes the PlayStation 5 too.
Okay. I have that. I like my Xbox, thank you.
I have to say it.
It's big and black and proud.
I have to say it. So you know that Xbox I won? The Halo Edition one?
What happened?
Why'd you take that tone?
I want to know what you did to it.
Nothing. It's still in box and sealed and hasn't been opened.
I'll give you $1. How much did you pay for the auction?
I'm not telling you that because you're just going to be like, I'll pay you $1 more than that.
I'll give you double.
No.
People can go back to the old episode and know what you spent on it.
Yeah, it was $10.
I know. I'll give you $20 to give me that.
Dude, did you see those are going for $1,500 now? It's mind-boggling. It's a current console.
So why not play it or sell it? Why is it just in the box?
Because there's nothing really to play on it outside of Halo.
You bastard. How dare you? You say that in front of me? Oh. See, this is how you get gold, ladies and gentlemen. You just make your co-host pissed as shit.
His face went like 27 emotions.
Just sell it or play it, for the love of God, please.
Oh, are you certifying playing it?
Yes, because Halo Infinite was awesome.
I mean, eventually
that game is like dealing with a bad breakup.
Oh, man.
I think I tweeted that when I was like kind of drunk. I was just like, this game's dealing with a bad breakup.
So, you know how backlogs go, right? You obviously have games that you really want to get to. There's games that, if you get to it, you get to it. And then there's all the way at the end, you're like, hey, I do want to play you, but I'm not putting you more important than another game, right?
It's like the Toy Story Andy scene where it's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. No.
Basically, the Xbox is at the very bottom.
I hate you. I don't know why this bugs me so much. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care. Do whatever you want. But at the same time, give it a chance, man. Xbox is cool.
How about I just keep it as a paperweight?
Do what you want. Make whatever bad decisions you want.
You know what? I'm going to bring it into work because my office is basically video game mecca / anime mecca with all the figures and everything I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remove the figures and I'm just going to have that in box chilling pointed at you.
I'm going to just steal it. You know that, right?
I know where you live.
Yeah, I know, but I know where you live too. So I could just steal it from your house.
Bring it.
It'd be like Home Alone.
It's Video Game Fight Club.
It's Video Game Fight Club or Video Game Home Alone.
I mean, I think you're at a serious disadvantage if it's Video Game Home Alone with my house.
Yeah, but you also need to get past the gates of my apartment.
Joke's on you. The code is...
No, don't say it. People will know where I live.
The code is Microsoft sucks.
You told. So anyway, backlog, whatever.
Yeah, so it's at the back of the backlog.
Fine, whatever. Was there more to that, or you just...
No, I just was doing that to troll you.
Okay, fun. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I had fun.
Yeah, think about all those RPGs that you recommended me to play, and I just pissed all over.
I mean, fair.
I remember, I think it was actually funny because we're in a Discord group, and you recommended Lost Sphere to some people, and I was like, hey, hold on.
About that game.
I was like, oh, that's raising some red flags. I'm like, yes, you can't corrupt anybody else.
I hate you.
You know your life's better when you love me. That's my catchphrase. Put it on a shirt. But that's been my kind of adventure diving back into collecting stuff again. And it feels good. And I really have to slow down because I spent like about $700. And some of that was on Knuckles Chaotix, which I say some because, again, I don't want to reveal how much I paid for that.
They can Google.
They can Google, yes. But it wasn't complete in box. I'll say that much. But then again, it doesn't matter because eBay prices are stupid. But yeah, I see myself when times allow, when I actually get through my current backlog, which I guess would be my current docket of to play games. To do play, yes.
What are you to play today?
That sounds like a foreign game company or something, like if Tectoy made a new console. No, when I get through, because they're mostly fighting games and like Virtua Cop, and I can get a collection of House of the Dead with 2 gun cons so we can play it. That'd be cool.
Play it.
Oh, and the remake came out too. I got to pick that up. So many good games, but I'm getting ahead of myself. At the right time, I think I'll be expanding my Japanese Saturn collection, because the next one I got my eye on is Metal Slug. And I actually used to own Metal Slug as an import on my PlayStation back in the day, and it sucked on PlayStation because it would have to stop and load mid-level, and it made me sad. On Saturn, no problem.
In praising Saturn, it's still one of those consoles that it's very hard to emulate just because of how like wonky like the hardware and everything was.
It was hard to program for. That was one of the...
That was a downfall, but better load times than the PlayStation if you actually look at it not like apples to apples, right?
Mm.
The controller was a Sega controller just with a little modification. Whatever.
They also had the analog one that came out with Knights, so...
Whatever.
It was a prototype Dreamcast controller is what it was.
It was... If Sega had done things right and that had been their focus, they could have put more developmental time into the Dreamcast. They could have reaped the benefits of having the Saturn out for a longer life. Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah, and it's also really interesting to see how different markets come into play, because the Saturn was really popular in Japan. It was just not popular anywhere else. That's a problem. Because despite what a lot of people may think, because Japan is still one of the biggest markets for games, if you're not a success there for a long time, the sentiment was if you're not a success there, you're not a success anywhere. But after, seeing Microsoft's rise to prominence with the Xbox and the Xbox 360, that was a tide shift. So yeah, it's just been kind of interesting to see the repercussions of that, or the ramifications of that, just experiencing it as I'm, trying to collect this stuff and rekindle that itch for old school 2D fighting games and whatever should be my want next. So
Aww.
But yeah,
He makes me happy.
any final thoughts on this?
No. Ultimately, so the main reason we talked about this is like John
Because we needed to make an episode.
hey, yeah, weekly content.
Yeah, nuts and bolts, y'all.
John is it's literally it's out of his norm comparatively speaking to where it was just a few years ago, and seeing this is really awesome, and we want to bring it to you because collecting is a wonderful thing. It's a very unique market right now in the sense that, hell, you heard me mention earlier in the episode, I got Lunar Silver Star Harmony for the PSP for $20, and it's going for $150 complete in box right now. The market is insane.
Mm.
However, our childhood, the nostalgia that comes with collecting, the thrill of the hunt for me, because I'm diving back into arguably the most expensive version of collecting, JRPGs.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding, man. Like, enjoy it. Find the games you want. Enjoy your childhood. Relive the memories. Build a fucking Decepticon. And just embrace it. And if it's out of your price point, you can collect in other ways.
Get a Polymega.
A Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
You name it, there are infinite ways to experience gaming without you hurting your wallet. And I think we're in a really good time right now because big games, we already know how they're going. So it's kind of nice to like go back to when gaming was simpler, more fun, and just relive those badass memories.
Yep, I do agree.
So the last part of our show. So every now and then we get a little serious. Every now and then we have some moments where we have to kind of hammer home. Case in point with Tony on our last episode with gatekeeping. If you're a gatekeeper, you can go suck a giant dick and die. Point blank and period.
And not like a cool, handsome dick, like an ugly one.
Picture Cthulhu.
Oh, God. You can't look at it without going insane. Are we going to jump into the next topic, or do we need like a break?
So we're gonna be right back, and I want to preface this with sometimes we have some pretty serious moments on here, and John he's gonna share some stuff with you, and I want you to know we here at Games with John and James, we're people, we've got work schedules, you name it, life and everything.
Families, we got IRL friends too.
IRL friends.
IRL family. I'm sure there's going to be a sitcom named that one day.
Yeah, at the rate things are going. But it's good to have him back, and honestly, like, I want you to hear his story, and just know that we're here to stay. John and I aren't going anywhere. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks you,
James. Oh, you're the best.
That's what you say in the mirror every morning, flexing in your freaking underwear.
No, I look down at my penis and say that.
You just look down at your dick and say, "I win."
Yep.
Okay, but not to undercut the seriousness, but we'll jump into that in just a bit. Enjoy some music. Stick around, y'all. If you want to say welcome back and actually say it, please do. If not, I'll do it.
So, welcome back, everybody. As you know, before we mentioned a little bit of seriousness. So, John's actually going to talk a little bit with his hiatus for a little bit, his little bit of an extended hiatus. So,
yeah, it's dirty laundry time, folks. So get ready.
The floor is his. John, take it away.
Yeah, so I'll just be blunt. My absence, I was in rehab. and rehab for alcohol. So I alluded to this a little bit ago in our New Year's resolutions episode, where we talked about things that we wanted to change or things we hope for this year. And I made mention how that I let myself just kind of drink and eat too much and eat too much crappy food, and really I was just getting off of a diet and feeling kind of bad. So I started off this year with the best of intentions, coming off of a 2021 that was actually particularly hard on me for a lot of reasons. And then in 2022, I thought, okay, new year, new me, let's give it a shot, see where we go. I get COVID, and then I get regular sick, and then my grandmother dies, and then I'm in a car accident. And there were high points, very good high points. My long-distance relationship actually came to visit me in February, so coming off of that immense emotional high, and then going into some really emotional lows afterward, alcohol became an escape and a crutch and a whole lot of nasty stuff that has resulted in not fun times at all. And so it eventually got to the point where I sought some additional help. And because I sought help before and it maybe wasn't working as well as I wanted it to, or the treatment wasn't, I wasn't taking it seriously. Whatever the case, I eventually decided that it was time for me to enroll into a facility that could actually help me get back more or less on my feet. And so that's where I was for the past 5-some weeks. So yeah, y'all, that's kind of the crux of it. And I say the crux of it as I use that as a crutch when it comes to defining this kind of stuff, but I think that's just kind of it. I'm reconciling with the fact that I'm a recovering alcoholic at this point, and going through treatment has helped me greatly and equipped me with a lot of the tools that thankfully I actually did have. One of the things that I discovered through my recovery process is that, it wasn't something endemic or, necessary for my, self-medication. Like I was actually had the tools capable to do certain things, but bad habits die really hard. And that was the biggest struggle. So I'm on a good track now. I'm over 40 days sober at this point, and I have plans to continue that streak. Yes. And I also have plans to resume streaming, because I do stream on occasion through the Whipple Effect, which is my screen name across multiple socials. So who knows, maybe in this episode I'll actually share those links. So if you want to stop by, I've actually considered doing like an AA kind of like gaming stream called like gaming or something with 2 A's in it, because I thought that was clever. But again, that's me putting stuff into existence. So I think it'd be kind of fun to more or less share those kind of stories and maybe even hear stories from other people while also indulging in some video games. Because one of the things I've realized in going through treatment is that a lot of people really, no one kind of sits with their pain. No one really sits with a lot of the things that were really making people or making themselves just sad or suffer in silence. And it's really, really, this is where the seriousness kind of note of the conversation comes in, because I knew that I was in a troubled spot when, like I mentioned at the start of this year, I was actually in a car accident, and thankfully I was okay. But I literally didn't care about my own well-being enough that I got whiplash from the accident, and I didn't get seen for it or treated for it until I went into recovery. That's how much of my own like self-worth or self-need to, self-practice any type of self-care was squashed down. And it's also kind of the reason why toward the end of my time in recovery, the 5 weeks where I was in inpatient care, I actually pursued the stuff that we mentioned in today's episode, like discovering that kind of, inner child that I had been neglecting for God knows how long. So I know that this is kind of a shift in terms of the tone where we talk about jizz on the show a lot, but I really just kind of wanted to be open and candid about it, because I'm pretty sure that there are other people out there who might be thinking the same thing, or, might feel like that would make them too vulnerable, or might make them seen as a sissy, or might make them seen anything that's stopping you from working on yourself or making you feel like you're less of a person because you either have this problem or think you have this problem, or, might know someone who has this problem and you don't know how to help. Like I'll give the people in my life and my friends some amount of credit here, because I have been open with my struggles. Some people came through, a lot of people didn't. And acknowledging that kind of hurt me, which also made this a lot harder to get through, but I'm very glad to be on the streak that I'm at now. And for whatever the future holds later, I don't know. I don't know if alcohol might play another role in my life in the future, but I'm not trying to think about that right now. What I'm trying to think about right now is what I want right now and how I feel right now. And I'm glad to be back doing the podcast because that was good. I'm glad that I'll be getting to stream again. I'm glad that I'll be doing my artwork again. If you follow me on any socials at all and see that I'm an illustrator, I'm happy to be contributing to the world and hitting unpause on my life. And I think that's the long and short of it. But yeah, if I can say anything at all, just through my own journey, is don't discount your self-care for any reason. Because if you let that get bottled up, you'll be having plenty of stories that I heard in rehab, and they're not fun.
Life is fast. Life is hectic. We literally live by the expression, rush to the grave. And the more you put things back, or the more it's fine, yeah, I'm okay, or the more you suppress certain things and certain aspects about you, the harder it gets. And John, he's one of my best friends, and seeing him on this road to recovery, it's been fucking awesome. And what I want to impart, and I know what John wants to impart, if you're having a bad day, or you're feeling down, or you're feeling some type of way, or if life is just kicking you in the dick, take that time, talk to someone, reach out. You can reach out to us, like DM any of the socials, hell, comment on any of the socials. At the end of the day, we have such a hard time healing ourselves. There's a commercial out there. It's one I've quoted to John often. There's a man who's walking around. It's a stick figure guy. He's just walking. He has like a square body, and he sees another person who's filled up with black. He hugs them, and their darkness goes away, but he retains a portion of it.
Yep.
And he goes through the whole commercial like he hugs a guy who's on a bridge, like getting ready to jump. Guy doesn't jump. Until finally, he's overflowing with it, and he's sad, and he needs help, and he goes and hugs a dog. And the moral of the story of the commercial is, there's someone out there for you, be it a pet or anyone. Don't hesitate to look within. Don't hesitate to talk to people. We have a lot of fun on this podcast. We troll the living shit out of each other on this podcast.
We have literally said to each other, we hate each other. But we also say that, our life's better when we love each other. So there you go.
So just remember, there's always a tomorrow. There's always a silver lining of happiness. And
there's always someone willing to listen. Mm-hmm. So don't discount that.
If you have to unplug from your norm for a little bit to rediscover who you are and talk to someone who's willing to listen, as John mentioned, do it. So it's been a roller coaster episode. We acknowledge
that. We're the only self-aware podcast.
So we'll leave you with some positives, because I know that was a pretty serious thing. So John's back. Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue to rib, troll, and Sonic Heroes him every rare occurrence. He has to get one.
Sonic Heroes, I hear, is free on Game Pass right now.
Oh, hey, look, there's a reason for you to play it.
Yeah, free on Game Pass. How about that?
I mean, you're still not convincing me to take it out from underneath the backlog. But good effort.
I picture you using that thing as a footstool and scrubbing and scraping dirt off your boots on it, and I'm like, I hate you.
Hey, I tell you what, I will open it and I will play Sonic Heroes.
Oh my god. If you get a GameCube and you play the GameCube version with me.
I think. And then that opens you up to all the GameCube games.
I think Dustin has a GameCube. I'll have to borrow it. But anyway,
no.
I'm not going to buy a GameCube. Do you have any idea how many consoles I have?
Do you have any idea how many I had?
I don't care.
So if you can say I don't care, I can say I don't care.
Well, I can say that because you have a house. I have a closet, which I also live in.
Oh, man.
Rate my gaming setup, and it's just a noose in a closet. Jesus.
Oh, God. All right. With that, as always, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Games with John and James.
You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube, which, since I'm back, I'll be able to actually update the YouTube again.
So yeah, like us, subscribe, leave some comments.
Super thank us, give us money.
Support. And yeah, this is it. It's good to have John back. It's good to embrace the dynamic again. It's good to find my Robin.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Let that sink in, motherfucker.
We didn't get that straight first. It has to get it straight first. Let that sink in.
Straight as an arrow.
Green Arrow. We were like Green Arrow and Green Lantern. That's what we're like.
Green Lantern arrow.
Green Lantero.
Could you imagine if he also had a lantern ring and all he could do was just conjure bigger arrows?
That would be kind of hilarious, actually. It'd be like a Wonder Twins.
I would watch that.
Take a form of a bucket of water.
Water!
Also,
we look forward to talking to you next week on next week's episode. So, peace out with this Boy Scout.
The Last Boy Scout.
Good movie.
Good movie. I think we'll take it out the right way. This has been Games with John and James. I'm John.
And I'm James.
Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see y'all next week.
Deuces.
Like a fart noise.